So today we're sort of transitioning out of what I've been using for my sermon series the last few weeks, and that is the story behind the song. So I figured we'd go ahead and do one more song. The story behind it isn't as interesting as some of the others, but it is kind of an interesting story. The gentleman that wrote this was, he and his father had a mercantile business back several hundred years ago, not hundreds, but several years ago. And he, at the age of 19, was licensed to preach in the Methodist Episcopal Church, one of the forerunners of the United Methodist Church. And later was ordained, but continued just to serve as a local pastor, and wrote hundreds and hundreds of gospel songs, none of which are in our hymnal. Not even Count Your Blessings is in there. But it's an interesting song that reminds us to count our blessings. Something that sometimes we forget to do, as we're so busy worrying about all the things that are wrong. We forget to do what's important and count our blessings. So we begin with a couple of scriptures. The 100th Psalm is a wonderful, wonderful psalm. I shout for joy. I know some versions say, make a joyful noise to the Lord. Shout for joy. Not just, yay God, but shout for joy. And this fourth verse is a wonderful thing. It says, come into his gates with thanksgiving, his courts with praise. Be thankful unto him and bless his name. That's the way we should start every day, is coming into God's presence with thanksgiving. To be thankful for what we have and to lift our praise and thanksgiving to him, to bless his name. Because James reminds us that the source of our good gifts is God. Does it say in our scripture? It says, don't be deceived, dear brothers and sisters. Every good and perfect gift comes from above, coming down from the Father of heavenly lights, who doesn't change like the shifting shadows. He chose to give us birth through the word of truth, that we might be a kind of first fruits of all he created. God gives us our good gifts. God gives us all sorts of good gifts, and the problem we have is we kind of forget them. So there is always, always, always something to be thankful for. I was reading quotes, and one of them, I won't get it exactly right, but it says, if you wake up in the morning and give thanks for all of the things you have, if you can't think of anything to give thanks for, that's your problem, not God's. God has given us something always, always, always to be thankful for. It's not a very good picture, but the thing on Facebook now is put a picture of yourself up from 10 years ago and now today. Well, this is kind of a picture of 10 years ago. 10 years ago, Hazel and I, in June of 2019, were on our way to annual conference, which is where we always go once a year to get together and goof off and do some work and have fun. And as we were just heading south of Bowman, North Dakota, we were run into. This is our car. I used the jaws of life to get the doors open to get us out. And that began a summer of walkers and boots and wheelchairs and living in a different house because our parsonage was not handicapped accessible. That was one of those old houses that's like about this high off the ground, and you had to have a mountain climbing degree to go in the door because you had to climb up the stairs. And so that's how our summer began. Living in a borrowed house. For the first 2 weeks, both of us were in wheelchairs. Hazel stayed in hers for another 2 or 3 after that, because she broke both of her ankles. I broke one ankle and broke all my ribs. And so we were pretty useless. There's always, 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 always something to give thanks for. Our first thoughts right after the accident were to sort of, we were like this because of the airbags, and we kind of reached over and just touched little fingers. I knew she was there, she knew I was there. First thing to be thankful for, that we were both still alive. You know, we knew we were hurting, but we knew that we were there. And so we were thankful for that. We were thankful for the place that the accident happened, because we were less than a mile and a half south of Bowman, North Dakota, and on the south edge of town is their hospital. And the hospital was on high alert because the gentleman that hit us was escaping from the law. So they had warned ahead that he might cause an accident, so you better be ready with your emergency personnel. They were on the scene almost before the dust settled, getting us out and getting us taken care of. We went into a great little regional hospital where they stabilized us and sent us off to Bismarck, which was closest to where we lived. And the wonderful thing is, we thought, we got a car full of stuff over on the western edge of North Dakota. How are we going to get all that stuff? The ambulance crew said, well, you don't need all the emergency things that we have, so we'll empty out the ambulance and we'll put all your stuff in the ambulance. So they hauled the two of us in one ambulance and all of our stuff in one ambulance and took it to the Bismarck Hospital. And while we were there, we began to feel a little bit better and think, how are we going to do this? We can't either one of us walk, and our house is terrible. It's hard to get through doors when you don't have a wheelchair or a crutch or something. Well, our church folks kind of rallied, and a lady in the community who didn't know us, wasn't a member of our church, but was friends with one of our members, offered to let us use her house, which was fully handicapped accessible. She said, just stay there as long as you want. Another blessing. We didn't know how we were going to feed ourselves, because I don't know if you've ever tried it, cooking in a wheelchair is a challenge. Stoves are just too high. And we couldn't really get out of them. Our church took it upon themselves to bring us food every day. Way too much food, but they brought us food. And a blessing. So many blessings came from this accident that it's hard to call it a bad thing. I mean, it wasn't good. We totaled the car, which, you know, isn't a good thing. But we came through it. And we saw in that so many things happening, the best of which was the calm and the comfort that we felt throughout the whole thing. You know, after the accident, you would think that your first thought would be sort of panic and, you know, nerves and scared and all this, but neither one of us ever felt that. We felt an unbelievable sense of calm throughout the whole thing. And it was, oh gosh, almost a month later before I found out really why that had happened. In the town we were living in, they used to do a jam session once a month where we'd get together and a bunch of us would play and this and that. And so we missed the one because of the accident, but the next one they came, picked us up, hauled us down there, had us come and sing. And while we were singing, I saw one lady, and she made her way up to us during the break, and she said, "You're the one." I'm sorry, you need to do it. She said, "No, you're the one that I've been praying for." How's that? She said, "Well, I live south of Bowman, and we were waiting for some friends to come, and we lived basically about a mile or so off the highway, so they could see all of the stuff that was going on, and they were afraid it was their friends. And so as soon as they saw the accident, they began to pray for us. And they kept praying, and then when their friends showed up, they said, well, you know, we don't need to pray for you, but we want to keep praying. So they kept praying. Also during that time, the information got to the annual conference. And the annual conference session stopped and prayed for us during the session. Some 800 people. But that one lady and her husband that prayed for us as we were still figuring out where we were and which end was up, helped us to feel that sense of calm. Never throughout our recovery period or any of those other times that have happened since have we felt worried or concerned? Because we knew there was something to be thanking God for. And so as crazy as it sounds, I thank God for the accident. Because it's helped me to understand in a way that is personal the power of prayer. I mean, I talked about the power of prayer before. I believed in the power of prayer before it, but I had never experienced it in that way. So the power of prayer is one of the blessings that came from being on the wrong highway in North Dakota. Also, this thank you, Leah Eden, she put this up on Facebook. Just something to read. You know, if you've got food in your fridge, clothes on your body, a roof over your head, a place to sleep, you're richer than 79%, 75%, I can't read, of the entire world. If you have money in your wallet, you can go anywhere you want. You're among 18% of the world's most wealthy people. You're wealthy? I have some money in my wallet. 18% of the people. I'm with that 18%. And I bet all of y'all are too. If you're alive and relatively healthy, you're more blessed than millions of people who might not survive the week, who will die. If you can actually read and understand this, you are more fortunate than 3 billion people in the world who are blind, deaf, or illiterate. Life is not about complaining. Life is about thousands of other reasons to be grateful, to be happy. You know, too often when we're looking to count our blessings, we want to look for, you know, oh, God gave me this great job, or God gave me all this money, or gave me all these gifts and these talents. And those are blessings, don't get me wrong, but the blessings that so many of us miss are those simple things like food in the fridge, clothes, when wintertime rolls in, warm clothes. Just simple, everyday things that not everybody is blessed with. We need to start bringing our gaze down from the great and the mighty and the awesome to the simple, everyday things, because we don't always remember those blessings. The other day, our kids went out and took part in a blessing on your behalf, many of you. They went and shopped for Christmas shoe boxes. So they put together 19 of them, packed them, bought the stuff, packed it up, wrapped them. Of course, we cheated. We used the plastic tote so it's easy to wrap. You just put wrapping paper inside and it covers up, so it's good. But those shoe boxes are blessings. I don't know if I've told you the story, but I'll tell it again for fear of missing somebody who hasn't heard it. My friend Mike Flowers, who was a missionary at Spirit Lake Reservation in Devil's Lake, started this because where he works is, at this point, I think it is the main reason for the poverty level in North Dakota. Poverty is rampant on that reservation, not because people don't have money, but because sometimes they're not always wise in how they use it. And so many of their children go without necessity. And part of their ministry there is to help give those children the necessities that they need, but also the blessings of Christmas gifts. And he remembers a story that one mother told him after Christmas was over. And she said that her daughter came to her after Christmas was all said and done. You know, it was a couple of days later. And she wanted to know why Santa Claus was mad at them, because they never got presents. And this mother said, I was just, you know, I couldn't say anything because I didn't have the money to buy presents. I barely had the money to feed them and clothe them. And she said they were just devastated because Santa Claus didn't like them. And that's when Mike decided that that had to end. And so he started his little Christmas shoebox program. I know they have the Operation Shoebox where they send them overseas, and that's a wonderful blessing too. But this shoebox program goes to our local area, mainly to the reservations, to the reservation, the Tree of Life ministry, and also the Spirit Lake Reservation, to give these kids a blessing, a Christmas blessing. And what's in a Christmas shoebox? Well, these had a pair of socks, a pair of gloves, a hat with stocking cap. They had a nice big box of candy, one of those movie theater boxes, the big ones, because that's the kind of they get candy, get it, don't mess around. They also had, now the ones that we did for the guys, we found some inexpensive electronic games to put in there. We put in a deck of cards for them, a little body wash, a toothbrush, a toothpaste. Not extravagant gifts. We spent about $25 or more per box to give a blessing to these kids. You know, it doesn't take much to give people a reason to be thankful. When they hand out those gifts, Mike said it's better than Christmas with his kids when his kids were little, because these kids are just so excited. Some of them, that will be the only Christmas gift they get. They're just blessed and find joy in simple, easy, and pretty unextraordinary things. They know how to give thanks for the small things because they don't have much for the small things. And I think sometimes we get a little jaded because of all of the blessings we have, living where we live and growing up where we've grown up. We don't see the need around us because it's given. And so we give thanks, you know, for this and that, and we think these big, wonderful things, but when was the last time we gave thanks for a warm place to sleep? Because a lot of people can't do that. When was the last time you gave thanks for your family being able to get together without exploding and blowing up and having a fight? Because a lot of people can't do that. When was the last time you gave thanks for your family being close by? I know not everybody has that blessing, but many of you do. Not everybody can give thanks for that. So many things that we take for granted in our lives really are blessings that we should be giving thanks for. Because they all come from God. All of those blessings. The blessings of our family, the blessings of our homes, our jobs, our family, friends, our children, our grandchildren, our cousins and aunts and uncles and nephews and all those people and all of the many things that we just sort of assume is the way it is. Isn't necessary. So as we gather this week, and I know many of you will be together with groups of family and friends, you'll be together with neighbors, you'll just have a good time, we'll have a meal. During that meal, I think you should sit down and count your blessings. I like this one because it runs out of room. Because if we're honest, counting our blessings, there isn't a sheet of paper in the world big enough to count them all. If you start thinking small instead of large, you'll find thousands and thousands of blessings. And I want to challenge all of you to turn your sheet that has the song that we're going to sing at the end, Count Your Blessings. Turn it over, and on the back it says, Count Your Blessings. There's only 12 spots there. And I bet every one of you could fill that up without even thinking very hard. Now you won't have to turn it in, I won't be checking this, but I think it would be important for all of us to just give that some thought and say, what blessings do I have? And count them. And as you're doing that, we're going to do another Count Your Blessings songs, which is from the group that we took a few of our youth up to here in Aberdeen called Wren Collective. And the song is called Counting My Blessings. So listen to it as you fill in the blanks on your sheet there. I was blind, I see in color. I was dead, but now I'm alive. So many things to be grateful for, so many things to be thankful for. We just need to look and realize everything we have, from the simplest thing to the most intricate things in our lives and the biggest events in our lives, they're all gifts from our Lord and Savior. So as you gather with your family this week, as you celebrate, as you eat turkey or ham or whatever, lasagna, it doesn't matter, whatever you eat, remember, you are blessed. Amen. So next week, we start the series Away in a Manger, as we look at the people, some of the people surrounding the manger. We start with one that's kind of odd, because it's the prophet Isaiah, who lived several hundred years before the manger. And he told us many things about the one that would be born in the manger and who he would be. And so we'll begin there. We'll look at Joseph and Mary, and we'll look at the shepherds, and we'll look at the wise men also. But we start this Sunday with the prophet Isaiah, the great prophet. So hopefully you can be there. Amen. And amen.